you always say, oh yeah, I recently did this. I recently evolved this. I've since developed this. You always have something that you have just done.
Yeah.
Most of the time, oddly enough, it's not even adding things, it's eliminating things. Usually words.
Or you're not doing it.
Or yeah, just making your criteria more strict. What's something right now that you're currently working on and maybe you don't have full clarity of it, but you're seeking clarity?
Well, I mean, how I'm going to launch my next book is something that I'm thinking about, just from a timing perspective. So that's something I'm thinking about. A lot of my attention goes towards what I'm going to try not to do, and so it's an accurate observation. Because I mean, if you listen to all the greats, you listen to Jobs, you listen to Bezos, you listen to Elon, entrepreneurial greats. It's like they all talk about focus because it's so hard to do. It's so hard because the bigger you get, the more juicy and tantalizing the opportunities become, right? And it's like, and you have to just be like, nope, we're just gonna keep doing this thing that I know all the pains of, and like we're just going to confront the issues we have, and we're gonna work through them one at a time. When it's like, oh, but there's this amazing thing that could be fast and easy, and it's like, it's just fast and easy because I don't know enough about it, and I just have to. And like I've just been burned enough times jumping over that bridge to know that like the grass is greener. I just don't know enough, and the fact that I think it's attractive means I don't know enough. And so 2024 was the first time in my life where I've not had FOMO. And that was a first my whole career where I didn't have a moment where I was like, I should be doing that instead of this. And I've been doing this, I've been in the entrepreneur game for a minute. And that was, it was only like I realized it in retrospect. I was like, that was an accomplishment. That was a huge win for me. Because I've always had that like a buddy of mine, close friend of mine, did like $50 million in net earnings in Q4 just from trading crypto. No employees, like just trading crypto, made $50 million in profit. And I remember thinking in that moment, I was like, good for you, man. Like, no idea how you do it. Don't want to know. I'm going to keep doing my thing. But like, at so many other points in my career, I would have been like, oh my God, teach me what you're like. I want to learn what you're like. And I would completely take my eye off the ball. And the thing is like, I think I've gotten this, a snowball that's finally started to roll. And I say this now, hopefully knock on wood, like it'll stay that way, that, I'll manifest it. I hope that I can stick with it, and because I've continued to get rewarded for sticking with it, and it's been the hard, like acquisition.com by duration is the hardest single business that the longest duration that I've only done one thing. So that's been pretty cool.
Besides Jack's mom.
Okay, we're cutting that.
Yeah, why? She was amazing. She didn't tell you?
No, she told me all about it, actually. I think.
Did she tell you to call me Dad?
I think you are. I think I'm entitled to some. Am I in the will?
You took that like a champ.
Once you hit $1 billion, you laugh.
Yeah,
it's turning into a Bezos laugh.
Like a Bezos laugh?
Yeah. Gosh, that completely threw me out. I had something.
That's what she said,
I had
too.
a missile in the cannon. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The greatest threat to Noxus lies within
Snowball. It's rolling up. I hope that I can stay focused for an extended period of time. Yeah.
That sounds like something that Graham and I need to hear exactly. Because we're so focused on making the content. And unfortunately, like most of our revenue comes from the sponsors.
Yeah.
And so we're able to travel around the world. We're able to spend money on the flights and the accommodations and the crazy
The watches, the dripping and
the crazy $15 Casio.
Yeah, the G-Wagons.
We're able to do what we do because of the sponsors, and right now it's enough. But we want to always be improving. And so now we're thinking like, well, what if we created a product or a service? And we're always having discussions about how we can do that. But at some point I always wonder, like if we just focus on making better content, and we get better, like higher paying sponsors, same sponsors, we love the sponsors, higher paying sponsors, because we're getting more views, and it's like a cycle because of that. But part of me also wonders, like, should we focus our efforts in something else?
My thought with that is that I am happy also doing what we're doing now. And I kind of worry that, like, we're good at this thing.
Yeah.
If
We
we
don't
take our
sell our
eye
own
off the
product or
prize,
service.
we don't. But if we take the eye off what we're good at now, are we just adding more onto the plate where we don't need to, where we have a really great balance and a great life and things are going well?
And if we're just trying to create something for the sake of creating something, then maybe it won't be perfectly terrific.
Yeah.
But right now, if we're just focusing on making the best content for you guys, the ones watching, then hopefully it's a pretty good product.
Well, I have so many thoughts on this. Do we have 5 minutes? Because I think I have a very
Yes,
in-depth
we do.
answer for this. So basically, I see this as a spectrum. So it's a continuum that exists for, and this is specific for creators in terms of how to monetize. And so it's basically a spectrum that has risk and capital and effort kind of on either side. So like low risk, low capital effort, high risk, high capital, high effort. So all the way on the left, you have sponsorships, right? Which is what you're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You make money from doing the same thing. 1 degree to the right of that would be like an affiliate relationship. Like Adobe says, hey, we'll give you 20% of all of them lifetime. It's like, okay, cool. Adobe, hit them up. You have an affiliate relationship. The next is when it starts to get a little bit. You have your drop ship, right? Your white label. You find somebody who just puts, and you did this with the coffee, I think, back in the day, right? Like you have that kind of middle ground. So somebody else is gonna manage everything. I'm just gonna promote it, but I'm gonna own the brand, and that's that. The next degree here is where you have you find an existing business where you can negotiate some percentage of equity in the business, and ideally distributions and/or royalties, which I'm a big advocate for creators to do both, because you have costs associated with running the business, running your business, your side of the market, right? And the business makes money because it's monetizing with whatever traffic you're sending, but you need to keep advertising. So having some either profit share or some royalty on top line or some sort of cash flow still needs to come back, because not all companies sell. Actually, the vast majority don't sell. And so I think it balances some of the risk for a creator. But that would be a minority deal, especially with a company or a product that you really like. And so if Adobe were smaller and would give you a percentage of the company, that would be one where it's like. And ideally, this is me turning the tables and speaking as the investor. It's the best is when you can write a check to, because then it's like there's no expectations. I'm going to promote this because I believe in it, and because I want it to grow, and I want to get a crazy return on the money that I put into it. And so you'll have some blend of that deal, but usually for a minority stake, and maybe some performance tranches that kick in based on how well you do it. And then the final frontier is where you actually like do everything yourself. Like the whole thing, soup to nuts, is like you're starting a business. That's Jimmy with Feastables, right? Like he's really just starting a chocolate thing and finding cocoa nibs in Africa and doing all this stuff, right? And so the upside is typically higher on this side, lower on this side in terms of the enterprise value of what you're promoting. But so is the risk and the difficulty. And the idea that I think a lot of people miss out on is like, it's so much about the partners that you're bringing in on this side that they have to, like in my opinion, for a true partnership to work, they have to be able to be successful without you. And if they're already growing, they're already successful. This is like school. Like schools can be successful either way. I just want to pull the future towards us faster. You need a partner who is as good as you are or better. Ideally, just amazing at that thing, and you're amazing at this thing, and then it's like the sum of the parts is where the magic happens. But that's basically the continuum. But if you're going to do anything to the right of center there, and you're not just like, I'm either sponsoring or doing an affiliate deal, I think you can do, like, I think the best deals is kind of like the school deal, where you put cash in, you buy a big stake, you also promote. Like those are deals where it's like, I think again in terms of behavior, what is this going to change about what I do? And I would like to do deals that change as little or nothing about what I do. If I'm always going to make content anyways, and I'm already getting 2/3 of people who want to start a business, then I don't need to change anything. Now, it's still high leverage because I just point them in a direction like, hey, I vetted this. I think it's awesome. I think it's a really good product. Check it out. And it's a free trial. If you don't like it, cancel. Right? That is basically and I would use that if I were you guys as my decision-making variable, which is, you both accurately said it. We're really good at this thing, and the more we do this thing, the better we get at it. We get more views, we get the sponsorship continue to grow. Fine. We can do some of these other deals as long as it changes nothing about what we do. And so I think that's the frame that you have to enter those conversations with, which is like, I'm already sponsoring, so me slotting your product in, which I also happen to own a piece of and get some kickback on, it doesn't change anything about what we do. But then that gives you some long-term upside. And maybe a higher distribution.
This would be really interesting. How about this, for anybody watching, if you have a business that you think would align with what we're doing, and you want the distribution, I'd be really interested to see who reaches out from this.
That's a great idea. And also Adobe. And also, if you guys,
yeah.
if you guys would be interested, if we were to create, because Graham and I thought about this, and we've helped a lot of people just in consulting with content, specifically podcasting.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
guys think that there would be demand for that, so that's something that you'd want to see. If we went all the way in depth, pre-production, production, post-production, research, etc., let me know.
I'd be open to that too. Yeah, I tried something on my own. I'll just talk about it briefly. I put a little feeler out there for like a networking community. And I was shocked. We got thousands
Yeah,
of people who reached out who said, I just want to be a part of a network
Yeah.
of like other entrepreneurs.
A
We started-
community on school, perhaps.
No, so we started at the very top of the list, people who made more than 10 million a year. And I just didn't even think of, I just wanted to go and talk to these people.
Yeah.
I probably talked to like 20 people.
Mhm.
It's the least scalable thing I could possibly do because I'm like talking one-to-one
It's super
with certain
scalable.
people. It's not.
Okay.
Not when people
Don't
want...
go up against, I see that
Yeah.
focus. Don't go up against that.
But so far we got a group of
Yeah.
like a dozen people.
We're doing over 10.
We were doing over 10 million a year. And it's just the coolest group of like it's something magic when you have a small community
Yeah.
like that versus something that's stupid.
I'm
But
big
I
on
say
communities.
but I say when it's not scalable in the sense that once you get, it seems like from I've spoken with quite a few people on this. Once you get more than like 30 or 40 people, you start to lose that one-on-one connection that made it special. In the
Yeah,
beginning.
it's really about subgroups. So if you look at like, is it scalable at the current level now? But our community is scalable for sure. So if you look at, well, you look at Y Combinator, they have a much larger community than that. It's really cool. If you look at Vistage, which is a community model. If you look at Y